Hare Krishna. We'll begin with our prayers. Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamhiyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajata सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So we are discussing from Chaitanya Charitāmrita Madhya lila. We are on chapter 5, the pastimes of Sakshi Gopal. So Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after taking sannyas, he is traveling from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri. On the way, he went to Remuna. There he spoke the beautiful story of Sakshi, Khirchor Gopinath. And then he moved forward and he reached a beautiful place called as Katak. And there he saw the deity of Sakshi Gopal. And there, Nityanand Prabhu, he described the wonderful story of Sakshi Gopal. So we heard the whole story of this beautiful deity of the Lord and how this deity walked all the way from Vrindavan to Vidyanagar. And then, Purushottam Dev, when he attacked because of the dispute, because of the, argument, and he took the deity of Sakshi Gopal, he prayed to the deity of Sakshi Gopal that please come with me. So he brought and placed the deity of Sakshi Gopal at Kataka. And so we discussed the wonderful story. So we discussed till verse number 140. And now we'll continue the further discussion. So now Kaviraj Goswami, he describes what happened further. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is continuing his journey along with the devotees. And so he continues the story of the journey of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu along with his devotees. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he arrived at a place called as Kamalapur. After leaving from Kataka, taking darshan of Sakshi Gopal, he reached a place called as Kamalapur. And in this place of Kamalapur, he took bath in the river called as Bhargi Nadi. And while he was taking bath, he left his sannyas danda with Nityanand Prabhu to take care. And he went and took bath. So Srila Prabhupada describes that in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antya Khanda, second chapter, it is described by Vrindavan Das Thakur that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he arrived at Bhuvaneshwar. There he visited the temple of Lord Shiva, Lingaraj, and that is also called as Gupta Kashi. And Lord Shiva established this as a place of pilgrimage by bringing water from all the holy rivers. And he made a kund. So those of you who have been to Bhuvaneshwar, in front of this Ananta Vasudev and Lingaraj temple, there is a beautiful lake called as Bindu Sarovar. So Lord Shiva personally brought the rivers, the water from all the holy rivers, and he created this beautiful lake called as Bindu Sarovar. So Mahaprabhu took his bath in this lake, Bindu Sarovar also. And Prabhupada writes, from spiritual point of view, people still go to take bath in this lake. And interestingly, he says that by taking bath in this lake, one becomes free from bodily diseases also. Prabhupada writes, taking bath and drinking the water of this lake can cure any disease of the stomach. Regularly bathing disease cures indigestion. So that's how, Prabhupada writes about that. So then after this, Lord Chaitanya came to a river called as Bhargi Nadi at Kamalapur, and that is 6 miles north of Jagannath Puri. So there he took bath, and there after taking bath, he gave his before taking bath he gave his sannyas danda to Nityananda Prabhu to take care. He had only few possessions. He had his kamandalu, and he has his sannyasi rod, sannyas danda. So he was in ecstasy. He didn't even ask Nityananda Prabhu back his danda. And after taking bath, he went to a beautiful temple of Lord Shiva called as Kapoteshwar. So while he was taking bath at Kapoteshwar, or taking darshan at Kapoteshwar, Nityananda Prabhu broke the danda into 3 parts and he threw in that river Bhargi Nadi. So from this incident, this river became known as Danda Bhanga Nadi. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the sannyas from Mayavad Sampradaya. Keshav Bharati was from Shankara Sampradaya. And Mayavadi sannyasis, they generally carry one danda. So that means they want to tell that we are non-different than the Supreme Lord. So therefore, they also refer each other as Namo Narayana. So that means I am also Lord Narayan only. You are also Narayan, I am also Narayan. But, and he says that in sannyas also there are 4 orders: Kutichak, Bahudak, Parivrajaka, and Paramhamsa. So when sannyasi is at Kutichak or Bahudak stage, he should carry the sannyas danda. But a Paramhams doesn't have to carry. Parivrajaka doesn't have to carry. So Nityananda Prabhu was thinking that why Supreme Lord he has to carry? First of all, he is beyond this, varnashram, and even if he has taken sannyas, he is automatically on Paramhamsa stage. So he does not have to carry the sannyas danda. So that was the reason Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, he broke the danda into 3 parts and threw it in river. So then he went and took darshan of Lord Shiva, and from there he went to take darshan of Jagannath Ji. And after taking darshan of Lord, he became ecstatic. Actually, from a distance only he saw the temple of Lord Jagannath. He had not yet entered. From far he saw the chakra of the Lord's temple and he became ecstatic. He started dancing in ecstasy. And Prabhupada writes some history about the current temple. The present temple of Jagannath Puri was built by a king. His name was Anang Bhima. And some historians say it was constructed 2000 years ago. So all the devotees were dancing, singing. Mahaprabhu is in ecstasy. Bhakta gana vishtuhaya sabe nache gaye. Prema veshe Prabhu sange raja marge yaye. Everybody is dancing, singing, and everybody is walking along the main road, going to the temple of Lord Jagannath. Hase kande nache Prabhu hunkar garjan. Teen krosh patho hoila sahasra yojan. So Mahaprabhu, he was laughing, crying, sometimes singing, sometimes dancing like a mad person. Sometimes he was, making loud sounds, hunkar. And the journey, the distance was not much. It was just 6 miles. But for Mahaprabhu, this distance seemed to be thousands of miles. So then, ultimately walking, Mahaprabhu arrived at a place called as Atharanala. So Atharanala is a place which is, there are 18 small canals. Atra, in the 18. So then when he reached this Atharanala, Mahaprabhu came to external consciousness. And he asked Nityanand Prabhu, where is my danda? Can you please give me my danda back? So Nityanand Prabhu says, actually, it has been broken into 3 parts. So Nityanand Prabhu is, such a wonderful personality. He behaves in sometimes a very, very, casual way, sometimes humorous ways. Prem. So now Nityanand Prabhu has to give some excuse. Who broke the danda? How the danda got broken? Prema veshe podila tumi tomare dharimu toma sahasei danda upare padinu. So he says, you were chanting and dancing in ecstasy and you fell, and I just caught you, and both of us fell on your danda, and that's how the danda broke. दुई जनार भार दंड खंड खंड होइला से खंड कहाँ पड़िला किछु ना जानिला. So very interesting. Nityan Prabhu is making such wonderful excuse. He says, because of the weight of 2 of us, that staff broke. Khanda khanda hoila. And I don't know where the pieces have gone. I don't even recollect. I cannot tell you. So mora aparad tomara danda hoila khanda. Ye uchit hoye mora kar tara danda. So Nityan Prabhu is asking forgiveness. Well, it is offense. Because of my offense, your danda got broken. So now you can give me whatever punishment you want. So Nityan Prabhu, when he said that, Mahaprabhu was really angry. And in a bit of anger, he started speaking. Prabhupada writes, why Nityan Prabhu broke the danda? Nityanand Prabhu considered that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's acceptance of sannyas is, actually not needed. It is useless. And on top of that, he is carrying danda. What is this? First of all, he's Supreme Lord. Why he has to take sannyas? And then why he has to carry danda? So it is a useless burden for the Lord. So he broke the danda into 3 parts. And Mahaprabhu, he expressed his anger because he wanted to teach all the sannyasis that nobody should give up the staff, the danda, before reaching the stage of Paramahamsa. That means Mahaprabhu is very strict in setting the standards. On the pretext of being a very elevated person, one should not set an example which will create some uh, disturbance in the society. So Mahaprabhu is very, very careful that nobody should follow a wrong example. So therefore Mahaprabhu thought that, if I'll not carry danda, people will imitate me, and they will also, those sannyasis, they will say, well, why we should carry. So Mahaprabhu is very strict about setting the right standards. So Mahaprabhu, he showed anger. He says, well, you all have benefited me. You have brought me to Nilachal. Now, he's in anger. He's saying, "Bahut upkar kiya mere pe. You have come here. You have brought me to Nilachal. I had only one position. I had my danda, and you could not keep that also. Nilachal vani moro sabhit koila. Sabe dand dhan chal chila. Taha na rakhila. I had only one wealth. That was the dand dhan. That was the only wealth I had. You could not keep that also. So I don't want to walk with you. I will not go with you. Either you go ahead of me or either you walk behind me. Please don't carry. Please don't come with me. So Mukunda, he told Mahaprabhu, my lord, you please go ahead and we'll walk behind you. So Mahaprabhu, he started walking very swiftly. He didn't want to, be with them. And Kaviraj Goswami says, actually, nobody can understand what is the actual reason of this Danda Bhanga Leela. Eta shuni Prabhu age cholila shigragati bujite na pari keha dui prabhurmati. Bujite na pare. Nobody can understand why these two lords are acting in this way. So Danda Bhanga Lila is very deep. Nobody can understand why Lord is doing this. So devotees, they could not understand why Nityanand Prabhu, he broke the staff, and why, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu permitted him to do so, first of all. And then after permit, because without permission of the Lord, how can Nityanand Prabhu break the staff? And after breaking the staff, why Mahaprabhu became angry? Because first of all, he must have given permission. दंड भंग लीला ए परम गंभीर से बुझी दुहार पद यार भक्ति धीर. Only devotees who have fixed devotion unto the feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu, they can understand the purpose. Otherwise, Dand Bhang Leela a Parama Gambhir. It is very, very confidential, very deep pastime. It is not an ordinary pastime. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, in the Paramham stage, there is no need to accept the Danda. So therefore, Nityanand Prabhu was a servitor of the Lord. He's eternal. He is a Parama Guru. He is a servitor Godhead. And he is always careful of serving Mahaprabhu. He also always wants to serve Mahaprabhu. So he was thinking, why Lord Chaitanya has to carry his staff? He is beyond Paramahamsa. Of course, Paramahamsa is there. But he is Supreme Lord. So why he has to carry? So therefore, he broke it into 3 pieces. So after telling all this, Kaviraj Goswami describes the Falashruti of hearing this beautiful story of Sakshi Gopal and further pastimes. So he says the glories of the Gopal, who is merciful to the Brahmanas, is very great. The narration of Sakshi Gopal was spoken by Nityanand Prabhu and was heard by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Prabhupada, in this purport of 159th verse, he makes 4 points which we should learn from this Sakshi Gopal story. Prabhupada writes, there are 4 points of instruction one should consider in the story of Sakshi Gopal. What are those 4 points? First, the deity of the Lord is Satchidananda. There should be no doubt about this. That is the first instruction. Satchidananda. The deity is Satchit Ananda. Pratimanahi tumi sakshat Brajendra Nandan Vipralagi kara tumi akarya karan. That is the faith a devotee should have while he is worshipping the deity. One should understand that he is not worshipping a stone, he is worshipping Supreme Lord. That's how we should worship. That's the mood a devotee has because he is actually there as a deity form. God can manifest in any form. Yad yad dhyata urugaya vibhavayanti tattad vapu pranayase sadanugrahaya. Whatever the devotee wants, whatever form the devotee wants to worship, Lord appears in that form. He stays in that form. And this deity form is the most merciful expansion of the Lord. Secondly, this story tells that the deity surpasses material regulative principles and extends the reality of transcendental principles. Somebody may say, how can Supreme Lord, who is spiritual, manifest in a material form? No, deity is material, made up of material elements. Shaili, Darumai, Lauhi, Lepya, Likhya, Sekati, Manomai, Manimai, these are material forms. In stone, in wood, in metal, in clay, in sand, in the mind, as painting. Ultimately, it is all material form. But the deity can do anything. The deity manifests to surpass all the material regulative principles. Supreme Lord is transcendental, still he can appear in a material form. That is the power of the Lord. There is a wonderful potency of the Lord, which is called as Virodh Bhanjika Shakti, which can reconcile all the contradictory things. How can the Lord, who is transcendental, appear in a material form? Lord can do anything. Virodha Bhanjika Shakti. Just like Uddhava says, he is telling to Vidurji, I am just bewildered. How can the Supreme Lord, he has no work in this world, still he is working. He is unborn still, he takes birth. Fear personified fears him, and he is running out of fear of Jarasandha. He is self-satisfied and he marries 16,000 queens. What is this happening? Karmanyani hasya bhavo bhavasyate durga shrayothari bhayat palayanam kalatmano yat pramadayutashrama swatman rate khidyati dhir vidamiha. It is so very astonishing. So that is second thing. Third point, he says, one can be situated in transcendental position after becoming a Brahmana. But as a Brahmana, one has to follow the regulative principles very strictly. So one cannot say, now I have become a devotee, I will not follow the material rules and regulations. I will not follow the traffic rules. I will not follow any rules because I am a Vaishnava, I am a Brahmana or a Vaishnava. No. One has to follow the regulative principles very strictly. A Vaishnava is beyond regulative principle means he doesn't have to remind it of. For him, it is natural to follow all of them. He doesn't have to think of following because it is ingrained in it, ingrained in that person. And lastly, he says, the Brahmanya Dev indicates Lord Krishna himself, who is worshipped as Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha, Jagad Hitaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. This indicates that a devotee who is under the protection of Krishna is automatically situated as a Brahmana. So a devotee of the Lord is always situated in Brahminical platform. He is greater than a Brahmana. And such a Brahmana is not illusioned. A devotee never gets confused, never gets illusioned. So Brahmanas, they are the most, the highest in the society, but higher than the Brahmanas are the Vaishnavas. Brahmananam sahasrebhya satrayaji vishishyate satrayaji sahasrebhya sarvavedanta paraga sarvavedanta vitkotya vishnu bhakta vishishyate vaishnavanam sahasrebhya ekanteko vishishyate. Out of thousands of Brahmanas, one who can perform yajna, he is the best. Out of thousands of those who can perform yajna, one who knows Vedanta is the best. Out of thousands of those who know Vedanta, one who knows Vishnu is the best. And out of thousands of those who know who knows Vishnu, somebody can actually understand Krishna. That's the rarest. So these are the four things Prabhupada writes, the instructions in this Sakshi Gopal story. And then the second last verse, 160th, he describes what is the Falashruti. Shraddha yukta hoya shune jai jan achire mile tare Gopala charan. Anybody who hears this story of Sakshi Gopal with faith, Shraddha yukta hoya iha shune jai jan, what will happen? Achire, very soon he will attain the lotus feet of Gopalji. So these are the benedictions given to make a devotee more and more enthusiastic to practice devotional service. And that's how all the authors, they write the books. They give benedictions, they seek prayers, and they describe the objective of the book. So in between, many times, many places, Kaviraj Goswami keeps giving the benedictions. And Kaviraj Goswami ends this chapter by offering obeisances to Rupa Raghunath. Shri Rupa Raghunath Padayaras Caitanya Caritāmrta Kohe Krishna Das. So that's how this chapter ends. So now the next chapter is another very, very wonderful chapter that is called as Deliverance of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. So it is another very, very wonderful story which describes how Lord works in this world. Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu, they had different ways of working. Mahaprabhu was dealing with classes and Nityanand Prabhu was dealing with masses. That's how they had divided their roles. That's why Mahaprabhu, although Nityanand Prabhu was a sannyasi, but still Mahaprabhu told him that you get married. Because I cannot go where you can go as a householder. I have restrictions as a sannyasi, but householder can go to places where a sannyasi should not go. To preach, of course. That's how Mahaprabhu, he told you get married, and Nityanand Prabhu got married. And Mahaprabhu says, even if jabe yadi Nityanand sur badi jaye, even if you see Nityanand Prabhu going to a house of liquor shop, one should understand that he must have gone there to preach, you know. And Mahaprabhu was teaching two classes. Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya in this case. Previously, we heard in the Adi Lila, Prakashananda Saraswati. Then he is teaching Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, then Gopal Bhatta Goswami, then Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and the father of Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. So all these big, big, powerful people, Mahaprabhu was transforming. And one of them was Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. So Kaviraj Goswami begins the story by offering obeisances to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Naumitam Gaur Chandram Yah Kutarka Karkashashayam Sarvabhaumam Sarvabhuma Bhakti Bhumanamacharat. Naumitam, I offer my obeisances to Lord Gaurachandram Yah, who converted the hard-hearted Kutarka Karkash Ashaya, that Sarvabhaumam, that Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, who had taken shelter of the bad logic. Kutarka Karkash Ashaya. Actually, he was the reservoir of bad logic. Can you imagine? He was a reservoir of bad logic. How it was bad? Because it was a Mayavad. Because he was expert in Mayavad's logic. He had learned that. And nobody could defeat him. Kutarka Karkashashayam. But what Mahaprabhu did? Bhakti Bhumanam Acharat. Mahaprabhu, he converted that, that Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, who was a reservoir of bad logic, into a pure devotee. शुष्क तर्क खोली खाइते जन्म गेला जार तारे लीलामृत पियाओ ए कृपा तोमार. Gopinath Acharya tells later, this Sarvabhaum, whole life he has eaten the dry cakes of logic. You are making him drink nectar of Harikatha. That is your mercy. So that's how Mahaprabhu transformed. Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Now, Kaviraj Goswami continues. So at Atharanala, he told, I don't want to be with all of you. He started walking very swiftly, and he entered the temple of Lord Jagannath. He became really restless, taking darshan of Lord Jagannath. He wanted to embrace the Lord. But as he entered the temple, he was so overwhelmed. He actually could not maintain his composure. He fainted in ecstasy. And as Mahaprabhu fainted, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya was there. All the other watchmen, they came and they were about to beat Mahaprabhu because, it may be the case that it was common. Sometimes people would come and they would make a show of devotion, they would make a show of ecstasy, and they would faint and they would create some commotion. They want to attract some attention. So these watchmen thought, oh, this must be some other person who wants to get attention. So they were about to beat, but Sarvam Bhattacharya could see that this is a different personality. He stopped them. He didn't allow them because Sarvam Bhattacharya was the head priest. He had that power. Prabhura Saundarya Premera Vikar Dekhi Sarvabhauma Mahila Vismita Apar. Sarvam Bhattacharya, he saw the beauty of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the ecstatic symptoms of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was struck with wonder. Dekhi Vismit Hoila. Sarvam Bhattacharya became really astonished. So Mahaprabhu, he would attract people by his beauty. That was his weapon actually. He manifested such beauty that anyone would get attracted, and they would develop some, favorable disposition towards Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's what happened with Prakashanand Saraswati also. And that is what is going to happen here also. There also Mahaprabhu attracted them by his beauty, by his effulgence, and by his humility. He sat at the place where people would wash their feet. Mahaprabhu sat there itself. That attracted, and he displayed his Brahman effulgence. For Mayavadis, this effulgence is very attractive. So Prakashanand Saraswati, the head of the Mayavadi sannyasis of Varanasi, himself got up. He went and he caught hold of the hand of Mahaprabhu and personally brought him, made him sit at the same place where he was sitting. That was a Sukriti created. Mahaprabhu gave him the Sukriti. That is what is happening here also. Prabhura Saundarya Dekhi, Prabhura Saundaryar Premera Vikar, Dekhi Sarvabhauma Haila Vismita Apar. Mahaprabhu was, Sarvam Bhattacharya was struck with wonder. Mahaprabhu was unconscious for a long time. And the time of offering was there. So Bhattacharya, he was thinking, I have to do something. So Bhattacharya, with the help of a watchman and some of his disciples, he took Mahaprabhu to his home. Where was his home? It was just on the southern side of the temple, on the bank, on the seashore. Currently, it is known as Ganga Mata Mat. Very small place. Now it is renovated. Earlier, it was really in a dilapidated condition. So now it is a little bit renovated. The deities of Bankim Rai are there. And Sarvam Bhattacharya took him. And he was really examining this ecstatic symptom of Mahaprabhu. There was no life symptoms. He was not breathing. And was really, Sarvam Bhattacharya became really anxious. He took a fine cotton swab, put it near the nostrils of Mahaprabhu, and it moved a little bit. Sarvam Bhattacharya became hopeful. Vashi Bhattacharya mane kore na vichar, Hey Krishna Mahapremera Satvika Vikar. Bhattacharya, he was sitting beside Mahaprabhu, he was thinking, this is the most uncommon Satvik Vikar, which a person manifests in Krishna Prema. And this symptom is Suddipta Satvik. Suddipta Satvik Namaye Pralay Nitya Siddha Bhakte Se Suddipta Bhava Hoy. So this symptom which is manifested in Mahaprabhu's body is Suddipta Bhava. And this manifests only in Nitya Siddha devotees and liberated souls. So Sarvam Bhattacharya, although he was a Mayavadi sannyasi, a Mayavadi scholar, but still he knew these, ecstatic symptoms. Prabhupada writes, what is the Suddipta Satvika Bhava? He quotes from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Siddhant Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his commentary that there are 8 types of sattvic vikar, Ashta Sattvic, and sometimes these symptoms may be checked by someone, but other times they cannot be checked. So there are various stages. There is something called as Dhumaita. Dhumaita stage is exhibited when only 1 or 2 transformations are slightly present. Dhumait means smoky. Dhumra. So when 1 or 2 are present, it is possible to conceal them. That is Dhumait. Little more is called as Jwalita. When 3 or 4 symptoms are present. Still, one can conceal them, but with great difficulty. Little more than that is Dipta. When 4 or 5 are present, and little more than that is Uddipta. When 5 to 6 are present, or all 8 are present. Uddipta means flamed. And the topmost is Suddipta. When these all 8 symptoms are manifested thousands of times, and they are all visible at once, it is difficult, it is impossible to conceal them. So Sarvam Bhattacharya is thinking this person is manifesting this Suddipta Bhava. This cannot be any ordinary person. And this bhava is manifested only by pure devotees, liberated souls. Adhirudha bhava yar tara e vikar, manushyera dehe dekhi pada chamatkar. Because these symptoms are not possible to be manifested in human body. Human body cannot take these symptoms. There is a capacity of a human body to take these symptoms. It is natural. This body has a capacity. When there is extreme of emotions, body shuts down. Body cannot function. When there is intense pain, the person becomes unconscious because the body cannot handle. Similarly, when there is intense happiness, body cannot handle. So this Ashtasattvic is much, much beyond the human body to handle. So Sarvam Bhattacharya is really confused. What is this? Adhirudha bhava, these uncommon symptoms of adhirudha bhava. Adhirudha bhava means what? Prabhupada again quotes from Saraswati Thakur's commentary. Saraswati Thakur writes from Ujjwala Neelamani. He says, loving propensity of the ashray towards the Vishaya. Ashray means the devotee and Vishaya means the Lord. The Vishaya Vastu means the Lord. When it becomes so ecstatic that even in the company of the Lord, the devotee feels, I am not still satisfied. At such time, the lover sees the beloved in different ways. That is called as anuraga. That was the mood of Radharani many times. Even if Krishna is right there with her and somebody would speak something, just like one time, Krishna and Radharani, they were sitting and a bumblebee comes and he's hovering around and, he's disturbing Radha Krishna. So Madhumangal, he comes and he drives that bumblebee away and he comes back and says, now the Madhu is gone. So that means he's telling that bumblebee is gone. So Krishna is sitting right in front of her and Radharani, she faints thinking that, oh, Madhu means another name of Krishna is Madhu. Krishna is gone. He is right there. So Prabhupada writes, with that anuraga reaches its highest limit, it becomes perceivable in the body, and that is called as bhava. And when the bhava is intensified, that is called as mahabhava. And mahabhava is manifested only in the body of the gopis and predominantly in Srimati Radharani. Mahabhava Swarupaye Radha Thakurani Sarvaguna Khani Krishna Kanta Shiromani. So he was thinking this Bhava, ecstasy is not ordinary. No ordinary mortal can, show such symptoms. As he's thinking like this, all the devotees, headed by Nityanand Prabhu, they reach Jagannath temple and they are asking. So as they reach Jagannath temple, the devotees and the watchmen and everybody is talking about a sannyasi who just came and he fainted and there was no symptoms of life in his body, and Sarvam Bhattacharya took him to his place. So they understood. Okay, it must be Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya. Shuni sabe janila yei Mahaprabhur karya henakale aila taha Gopinath Acharya. So as soon as devotees they heard this, they understood ये तो केवल महाप्रभु का ही काम है. You know, nobody can show such symptoms. ये महाप्रभुर कार्य. So as they were thinking like this, another great devotee of the Lord, Gopinath Acharya, arrives there. And Gopinath Acharya was famous, a familiar person. He was earlier in Jagannath Puri, now he was staying in earlier in Navadvip, now he was staying in Jagannath Puri. So he was a resident of Navadvip and he was son-in-law of Visharada. And he was a devotee of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Visharada, he was the father of Sarvam Bhattacharya. So Sarvam Bhattacharya had two sons, Madhusudan Vachaspati and Vasudev Sarabham. That is Sarvam Bhattacharya. So Visharada and Nilambar Chakravarti, they were classmates. So this Gopinath Acharya was the son-in-law of Visharada. So that means he was related to Sarvam Bhattacharya. So then later he moved to Jagannath Puri. So when Gopinath Acharya, he saw Mukunda Datta, he was so very happy, and he embraced and they were really happy and astonished. Gopinath Acharya, he starts asking about Mahaprabhu. How is Mahaprabhu? How is Nitya? And how are other devotees? And he was asking so many things about the devotees of Navadvip. That is natural. Everyone wants to know, oh, you have come from Navadvip. So please tell me how Mahaprabhu is. After taking sannyas, what happened? Where all he went? And then he saw, as he is asking, Mukunda says, actually, Lord has already arrived here. And we are just, searching for him. Then Gopinath Acharya, he sees Nityanand Prabhu, he offers his obeisances, and he is asking about Mahaprabhu again and again. So Mukunda, he tells what happened. After taking sannyas, Mahaprabhu, he was about to go to Vrindavan, but requested by Sachi Mata. So now he came to Jagannath Puri. On the way, he came to so many places and he told what happened, and his danda was broken by Nityanand Prabhu, and Mahaprabhu told, I don't want to walk with you, go with you. So he has come before us. And he says that from the talks of people, of Jagannath Puri temple, we have guessed that he must have come here and he fainted in ecstasy, and Sarvam Bhattacharya has taken him to his home. So we were about to go and meet Sarvam Bhattacharya. So, and at that time only you have come. So Gopinath Acharya says, okay, I'll take you. So all of them, they go to see Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and later, they said, later we'll go and see Lord Jagannath. That is very interesting thing in devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they are just concerned with Mahaprabhu. And that is what surprises Pratap Rudra Maharaj. When all the devotees from Navadvip, they first came to Jagannath Puri, they didn't go to take darshan of Lord Jagannath. They are directly going to meet Lord Sri Chaitanya. That surprises Pratap Rudra. What is this? First of all, they didn't shave. Tirthera vidhana hoy shoru poshan. When you go to a pilgrimage place, you should shave your head and you should fast. You are not doing, these people are not doing any of this. And they are eating prasad. What is this? So that time Sarvam Bhattacharya has become devotee, then he tells, actually you don't understand. Tirthera paroksha agya shauru poshan prabhura sakshat agya prasada bhojan. In scriptures they have, Lord has indirectly told in the scriptures that we should fast. But directly Lord is standing and he is telling, please come and take prasad. So who will fast? On top of that, Mahaprabhu is personally serving. Who will give up this opportunity? विशेषे श्री हस्ते प्रभु करे परिवेशन etala bachadi kon kare uposhan. So that is how the devotees are attached to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are not thinking, oh, we'll go and take darshan of Jagannath later. So here also all these devotees, they are not going to Lord Jagannath's darshan. They are going to take darshan of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first. So all the devotees, they are taken by Gopinath Acharya to the house of Sarvam Bhattacharya. And when Sarvam Bhattacharya, he welcomes all of them. And when Gopinath Acharya, he sees Mahaprabhu in this situation, he was not so happy. Devotees, they are never happy seeing Lord, having all these symptoms because it is painful many times. No symptom of life, it is painful for devotees. So Sarvam Bhattacharya, he permitted all the devotees and they came there. They offered their obeisances. Sarvam Bhattacharya offered obeisances to them. He met with all the devotees and Bhattacharya, he told, all of them, all of you, you please go and take darshan of Jagannath and then you come. Don't worry about Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'll take care of him. So he sent his own son, Chandaneshwar. He sent his own son, Chandaneshwar, as a guide. Because to go to Jagannath Puri temple without a guide, that means it is, very difficult to find out where is what. Because there are so many places to see. So Sarvam Bhattacharya sent his son Chandaneshwar with all the devotees and they went to take darshan of Lord Jagannath. So now Nityanand Prabhu is there and Mukunda is there and a few other devotees are there. They are all taking darshan of Lord Jagannath. This time Nityanand Prabhu, he goes into ecstasy and somehow the Nityanand Prabhu, he was caught hold of by some devotees and he maintained his composure. They came back. So, and they started dancing and singing loudly, chanting the names of the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna mantra. And hearing that chanting, now after a long time, Mahaprabhu comes back to consciousness. And he starts chanting and dancing. As he comes out of his consciousness, he starts chanting Hari Hari. And Bhattacharya, Sarvam Bhattacharya, he tells all of them, okay, now you please go and take your midday bath. You come back and I shall arrange Mahaprasad for all of you. So he arranges all the Mahaprasad and he, makes wonderful arrangement for them. And Bhattacharya, he gets lots of Mahaprasad. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees, they are sitting. So first they are served, Mahaprabhu was served wonderful prasad, various types of special rice and first class vegetables and sweetmeats. Everything is offered to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is honoring all of that in company of his devotees. Sarvam Bhattacharya is personally serving Mahaprabhu. It's a Mahaprabhu is giving him a chance to advance in Krishna consciousness. That's how a devotee should be, expert in bringing people close to Krishna. Sarvabhauma pariveshan korena apane Prabhu kahe mura deha lafra banjane. So although he is giving him opportunity to serve, But he is still, Mahaprabhu is telling, I don't want all the opulent vegetables. Just give me some boiled vegetable. Lafra Venjan. Lafra Venjan is many vegetables, they are boiled and the chonk is put. That is Lafra Venjan. Lafra nahi, Lafra. Lafra Venjan. So Mahaprabhu is very, very eager to transform this personality into a devotee. He is giving him chance to serve him so that he can get some agyat sukriti. So yena kena prakare, that should be the consciousness, the mind of a devotee. How to make this person a devotee? That's how devotee has to think a lot. What will bring this person close to Krishna? Some people they like to serve. Some people they like to, give some donations. Some people they chant. Some people they like to hear. Whatever a person likes, just give them a chance to do that more. If he appreciates the process of Krishna consciousness in any way, he'll come close to Krishna. So Sarvam Bhattacharya is serving Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu says, you can offer all these cakes and all the sweet preparations to all the other devotees. Please give me this Lafra Vyanjan. So Bhattacharya, he said, okay, he folded his hands and he told all of them, actually, he requested Mahaprabhu also, that today, all of you, please try to taste all the Mahaprasad. He started serving all of them nicely. All the devotees ate to their heart's content. They washed their hands, feet. And Mahaprabhu and Sarvam Bhattacharya, he arranged a very, very wonderful place for them to stay. So after Mahaprabhu and all the devotees, they left. Sarvam Bhattacharya and Gopinath Acharya, they went, they took their lunch and they came back. So then now, Sarvam Bhattacharya again comes to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sarvam Bhattacharya had arranged a place of his maternal aunt and he said, that is a very quiet place. You will like it. So he gave that place. He arranged wonderful, all the arrangements were done. Gopinath Acharya personally went and he did all the arrangements there. He saw if the water is there, water pot is there, and he made arrangements for Mahaprabhu to stay. Sarvam Bhattacharya comes and meets Mahaprabhu. And now the wonderful, incident is about to happen, which will transform Sarvam Bhattacharya. Namo Narayana Boli Namaskara Koila Krishne Matirastu Boli Gosai Kohila. So Sarvam Bhattacharya, he was a Mayavadi. He knew that all the sannyasis in Mayavadi Sampradaya, they have to be addressed as Namo Narayana. I offer obeisances unto you. You are not different than Narayan. That's how he addressed. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he responded? Krishna Matirastu. Let your attention be on Krishna. That's how Mahaprabhu responded. Prabhupada writes, Namo Narayan is a greeting used by Mayavadi sannyasis. And it says actually, according to Smriti, according to scriptures, a sannyasi should not accept anything from anyone, nor should he consider himself as Supreme Lord. It is an offense. So therefore, Mayavadi Krishna Aparadhi, it is an offense to consider oneself to be Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada writes that Vaishnava sannyasis never think like this. They always know that we are servants of Krishna. That is our eternal position. Dasa Dasanudas. That's how Mahaprabhu, when he took sannyas, he chanted this mantra. This verse from Bhagavatam, Etam sahastaya paratmanishta adhyasitam purvatamai maharshibhi aham tarishyami duranta param tamo mukundangre nishevayeva. By keeping faith in the words of previous acharyas, I will also cross this ocean of material existence. So that is the faith of a Vaishnava sannyasi. So Vaishnava sannyasis, they consider themselves as eternal servant of Krishna. So when Sarvam Bhattacharya heard this, he understood, oh, this person is a Vaishnava sannyasi. Because he spoke Krishne Matirastu. Sarvam Bhattacharya, he started talking to Gopinath Acharya. I want to know about, this person's previous situation. Gopinath Acharya रे कहे सार्वभौम गोसाई रजानी ते चाही कहा पूर्वाश्रम. What was he? Who was he in his previous ashram when he was a householder? What was he doing? Who was he actually? So Purvashram means previous situation. Gopinath says, in Navadvip there was a man named Jagannath, and he was a resident of Navadvip. His name was Jagannath, and his surname was Mishra Purandar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya, is the son of Jagannath Mishra, and his earlier name was Vishwambhar Mishra. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was known as Vishwambhar, and his maternal uncle was Nilambar Chakravarti. Oh, Nilambar Chakravarti. As soon as Sarvam Bhattacharya heard Nilambar Chakravarti, he said, oh, Nilambar Chakravarti was a classmate of my father. His father's name was Maheshwar Visharat. So, okay, so I know Nilambar Chakravarti. And my father, he respected Jagannath Mishra very much. And that's how I can understand these two personalities. Nilambar Chakravarti and Jagannath Mishra. I know them. So therefore, he became very happy. Oh, there is some connection. Sahajai pujya tumi arata sanyas ateva ha tomar ami nijadas. So after knowing who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is addressing Mahaprabhu. He says, you are actually naturally respectable because you are a sannyasi. And besides that, I know your family. So therefore, I am accepting you as my master. I want to become your personal servant. So sannyasi, he is always respected as the best of the society, varnashram. So Sarvam Bhattacharya, he was telling that you are a sannyasi, so I am your servant. So when Mahaprabhu, he heard this, he was naturally humble. He started speaking in a very humble way, addressing Sarvam Bhattacharya. So that we'll discuss in the next class. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.